There's a big difference between Marshall Islands and Fiji. People think we're from the Pacific. All the island countries in the Pacific are the same. But in fact, Marshall Islands is an atoll, so everything is flat. And Fiji is a hilly volcanic island, so there's lots of mountains, fresh water, big forests. Very beautiful country, but I think Marshall Islands is quite unique in its own way. So yeah, there's a lot of difference, physical, geographical difference. The way the food in Marshall Islands is quite different. There's a lot of staple breadfruit. Things don't grow that much, so we import a lot of food. But fish is very tasty in Marshalls than in Fiji. And the work environment is very different because Marshall Islands follow the American way of the American system, and Fiji we follow the British system, so there's a lot of difference here. PNA established its office in 2010, and Marshall Islands is a host to that office. They came up with, the member countries came up with the fisheries management tool called the VDS, the Vessel Day Scheme, and it has generated a lot of income for Marshall Islands and the PNA member countries. With the revenue that has been generated, it actually quadrupled in the last 4 to 5 years, so there's a lot of fisheries income. That money is actually used to invest into the fisheries management system. It has been used to assist the government in buying things like air marshal for domestic airline, educational, it's a university campus that we bought for the government, and there's a lot of ways that the government uses the money, and it also helps in assisting with the public service in paying salaries for the government employees. So there have been a lot of things that the fisheries income has done. And also it has contributed to outer island community development, because there are 24 atoll communities in Marshall Islands, and not all of them are accessible by air or boat. So we have used that money to sort of implement conservation measures for those communities, so they have a sustainable livelihood. We do have a lot of problems, not as serious as we thought it would be, but there are issues with being more transparent with the income that we use. We have the climate change issue, and we have the post 2023 compact issue, when the funds from the US will cease. So these are more national political issues, but other than that, we don't have any serious issues per se. Marshalls and Japan, I think there's a historical relationship with the World War II, post-World War II, with the fisheries, when the Japanese started to develop fisheries in the Pacific. So there is a close relationship. There's bilateral agreement with the Japanese fisheries and Marshall Islands government, where your pressing boats and your longline boats come and fish in our EEZ. So we negotiate, we consult and negotiate, and then there's an agreement where your boats come and fish in our zones and take the resources back to Japan. And most of the big eye that comes from our EEZ comes directly to Japan. In fact, Japan is our largest export for fresh frozen big eye tuna, which is good for sushi and sashimi. Yeah. With Fiji and Japan, there's also a historical relationship. There was one time when there were direct flights to Fiji, and so there was a lot of tourists from Japan going to Fiji. So I think Fiji is trying to revive that relationship. In terms of aid, Japan has provided aid to Fiji as well as Marshall Islands. So we have good diplomatic relationship, yeah, Fiji and Marshalls, both with Japan. I think SPF's role is important in the changing diplomacy that's taking place through fisheries. It's important to keep this dialogue going on, so there's understanding on both sides and how we can cooperate with each other to improve on relations and support each other's national aspirations. So I think this dialogue should continue, and in some respect it should end up where something tangible can happen out of this dialogue, maybe some kind of research and development, or capacity building, or technical support. So I think what SPF started is really important and is very timely for both Japan and Pacific Island countries.